Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. Today we're going to do 3 card maps. If you've been following me, I've been doing the 22 card maps that are on in the Stampin' Up! Catalog that don't give you measurements, so I've gone ahead and done that. I've created project sheets. Today we're doing 3, map 18, 19, and 20. And so I've taken some shortcuts. I'm not going to be assembling a lot of it, but I did want to show you all the things that I came up with when I was trying to make these cards. If you're following me on YouTube and you want the project sheet, go to my my blog at stampmesilly.com. If you don't have a demonstrator and you want a free catalog, or you have any questions, you can email me at jandufour@yahoo.com. And if there's any products here that you'd like to purchase, you can go to my online store at jandufour.stampinup.net. We'll put that away. All right, so the first card is what I call a scene card. It does not need to be a scene card. You can use any DSP. This one comes from Thoughtful Journey, and they are incredibly beautiful. But you'll see some of them are just like the back side of this. It's not really a scene. So it doesn't have to be, but it works very well doing scenes this way. So one of the tips I was gonna tell you about, as you can see, I've cut this paper up. I didn't want to do it live just because I wanted to do it more quickly. But I decided what piece of this scenery I wanted to be on my card. I did not use the same one. And I decided, let's see, the actual measurement that I needed for the end piece, which is this, well, I need 3 strips of this one. That is 3 3/4 by 1 1/2, and then I need 1 strip that is 4 by 1/2. Now, here's the deal. If you're going to use, which I'm going to do on this one, if I'm going to use an alternate color here instead of part of the scenery, you can just go ahead and cut your 3 altogether, the 3 3/4 by 1 1/2. If you want this to be scenery, which I did here, I think I would choose not to do it next time. I think I would do this. But if you want this, then you have to cut your 1 1/2, 1 1/2, switch to half, and then 1 1/2 in order to keep your scene together, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead. As you can see, like I said, I took this much off, and then I took a little bit of blue off, and then I decided a little more green off. So, you're kind of playing with it as you go along. But essentially, you end up with this piece here. All right. So, like I said, I decided, whoops, I threw that away. I decided I wanted this as my flag piece there. So what that means is I just needed to cut, this is already 3 3/4, and so I'm just cutting off 1 1/2, which on a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, this edge, this clear, or this gray edge is 1 1/2, and you get more surface up against than if you do it just with this amount. So for smaller pieces, I always use this side. So we're going to do 1 1/2, and you want to keep them in order. And then 1 1/2. Then this should be 1 1/2. That's actually a little bit more. So I'm going to cut that down a little bit. When you're trying to get this is crooked. When you're trying to get a scene in there, sometimes you have to fudge with it to get around to what you actually need. All right, so there's my 3 pieces. All right, this is my scenery, and I'm gonna make the flag be the 1/2. I just decided I wanted to try that. And again, you'll notice it's a little bit bigger. It doesn't show very much here, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, but it turns into a flag. And we have made many flags. And if you want to, one of the ways you can make it almost perfect is to put a little mark across here on your scissors with a permanent marker, a Sharpie. And then when you line it up like this, you would just line the line that you've created with the bottom of this. I do not do that. I just eyeball it. So, and then I usually do bend down, especially since I can't stick my head right over it. So I know where this crack is, if you will. And I go corner to there and then corner to here. And that's pretty darn close. And there, oops, I forgot to pull this off. And then we'll do the same thing. And again, if you had a line on it, it would be perfect. I am not worried about that. I am gonna pull this down a little bit. This is a dark color, so it's even harder to see. But by doing that, I create a shadow so I can see where I'm going. And then the second one is much easier. There you go. And that's my flag piece. And I'm gonna stick that there. And then I have the circle that I just stamped. I just went ahead and put this down with glue. I'm just going to show you how I set the 3 of them, or 4 of them rather, so that you get them fairly even. So we put a little bit of glue on here, and I know I don't have a lot of space, so I'm going to start by pulling this down quite a bit. Oops, oh, it's a little bit too much. There we go. We'll do about that. The next piece I'm doing is at the top. And that's so that I can figure out how much I have in the middle left. And I don't end up with a really large piece up here. I am going to push it up a little bit. All right. Is that straight? Let's see. With the glue, you have a little bit of opportunity to move it around. All right, so then I know this is the next piece. So I'm just going to dry fit it by putting it down, putting my flag in here. And then, as you can see, it's a very small amount of space. If you would prefer to have more space, that is perfectly fine. All you have to do is make these, I would say maybe 1 3/8, which is a little bit less than half. And then you plop the circle on it, which I have here. I'm gonna stamp it in Blackberry Bliss, I think. If I can find it. It's in with the purples. Let's see. There we go. And where did I put it? Happy birthday. And what I like about this is when you put it down, first of all, because it's a photopolymer, you can see through. Second of all, if you don't get it exactly in the center, it's a little bit high, you can always put a gem. And I'm not going to stop and do that. Then I popped it up because I want to move on to, because I am doing 3 cards today. So we're going to just move on. I'm giving you can glue by yourself. All right. The next card we're doing is card map number 19. These are all little circles. Did it take me a minute to do that? Yes, it did. These are 1-inch circles. I took them, I had this on a magnet up here so I don't lose them. There happens to be 2 the same size in, I love this set, Spotlight on Nature dies. They're circles, all kinds of different ones. As you can see, they're different here. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell a 1-inch punch, but if you have one, you could certainly use that. And then I'll show you one other way that I did it. By the way, all of the sentiments that I'm using today are coming from a Labeled with Love. We're going to use some of these at another time. Actually, I think I already have, but anyway, that's where I got Just For You on this one and Happy Birthday for the other one. All right, so you can use dies, cut them all out. And again, I'm not going through the whole thing, but I did want to show you one little trick. I decided to make them different color this time, just to see what they look like. Essentially, these are all one kind. You could put all of this type up on the top and then put the other kind on the bottom. One of the tricks I wanted to show you, if you don't clean your die every time you cut this particular one out, this one, if you don't pop out the edges, they tend to not quite punch out. They don't fall out. They're very easy to get out. All you have to do is put this on your pad. You can flick them. Of course, you can always poke them out. They come out very easily. It's not that they don't, that they get stuck in there, but it does leave some debris behind if you don't clean this one out every time you use it. So rather than do that, and then of course all you do is pump that and it's gone. And this is your piercing mat. So anyway, that's how you get these particular things. So I just wanted to show you one thing. As you can see, using one makes it land fairly close. Now, I'm just going to use a little bit of glue. There's two different ways you can do this. The other way you can do it, because with a little circle like this, you could peel this off without, it'll tear the paper a little bit underneath, but you will never see it when you glue it back on. Or the other way to do it is use glue dots. Again, same thing. Oops, I want one of these. It would be the same thing. You can take them off. If you don't punch them down real hard, I'm just going to lay that one there right now. And then I'm going to do the next one. And that will tell me how far I need. See, I should have put this one over a little bit more. So let me show you how you can take it off. One of the tips and tricks, right? So you just pull it slowly. You will get it off. And like I said, sometimes you can't do that because you don't want this mess. I'll use a glue dot this time. But it doesn't matter if you're putting it right back over, right? Nobody will know. Oops. And then I put this one down too hard. That's all right. That one's going to be covered up too. Okay, here we go. I'm putting this down here, about the same amount of space on both sides. Same thing with the top. Now this one's not in the right spot, so I'm going to move this one over. Okay, I got them on there. I know that looks bad, but it's going to be covered. But trying to put these all down, so now I'm going to alternate. I put this one here and this one here and this one here. You can eyeball it. I definitely eyeballed it at least once while I was testing this out. And it worked out fine. But if you're real, like not OCD because that's an actual diagnosis, but if it really bothers you, you can always use your very inexpensive $1.77 or something like that at Walmart ruler. And so as you can see, that way I can put this right where it belongs. And then I can also do it this way to make sure that they're lining up straight as well as I put them down. And as you can see, they're pretty darn straight. So anyway, that's my tip. No, I'm not going to complete this card because again, I'm doing 3 cards. As you can see, this is how it works out. So I put these 2 rows up, then I do the bottom 2 rows, and whatever room I have left is where this goes. All right, let me put these where I will not lose them. I'll put them back up on my magnet. I have a temporary magnet I use. So that's one way to do it. Now look at this little trick. I got 2 little tricks for you. Let me find... What did I do with it? I thought it was in here. Oh, yeah, here it is. Look what happens when you cut them all out. If I had paid more attention, I was not trying to do this, but if I had paid more attention, this one, if it was a little further down, you could use this on, let's just flip this over, and look at that. That would be another way to get the spots. And then the easiest way, which I love, easy, is to use your DSP. There's one called Full of Life, and the paper is large spots. So all I did again was I cut off these, that row and this row and this row and this row. And then I had this for full circles. Now it's not exactly the same as the template, but it's real close. Then I started looking, it was like, oh, look, we have little dots. We could use the little dot ones. We could use the square ones, same principle. Cut down, let's see. So I would cut down this right here, and then I would measure, and depending on if I wanted more greens or more oranges, I would say I would get rid of 2 rows across this way. And voila. Now this is just amazing paper because there are so many opportunities. You could use every single one of these cards making it this way. It would, anything in here would work. It's just awesome. So those are my tips and tricks for this particular card. And I'm sorry, I know I'm going fast and I'm not putting them actually together, but I just felt like I needed to get 3 in one anyway. And I just felt like I needed to maybe do just the tips and tricks while we're making it. And this is the easiest card that came along. This paper is from Lily Pond, which you know, the stamp set has ducks and other things, and maybe that's not your thing, but the paper is really cute. Again, you can do scenes. This is the one I'm using. The back side has got beautiful paper. I see that one, the lily ponds there. All kinds of cute. This is the one I used. So you can use pretty much any DSP to do this, obviously. Now, this piece is 4 by 4.5. And yes, all of the instructions are on my project sheet. So go to my website, stampmesilly.com, and you can find it there. We'll go ahead. Oh, look at that, same color. Didn't even know that ahead of time. So all I did was pick out, it's obviously not the same colors as I did here. This is soft sea foam, and this is our new peach pie. So I picked one of the colors, and when you purchase or are looking at papers, right underneath it there'll be a list of what colors are in there, so you'll know what matches. And then I wanted something to offset. The flag is 2.5 by 3/4. Again, we do our famous flag business. Oops, that's not centered. There we go. I'll pull this down a little so I can see where I'm going. Oh, there we go. And there's my flag. There's some garbage. I put that there. And I did elevate this with dimensionals just to make it different. I did put 3 here, but I really didn't need to. 2 would have been more than enough, but, well, not more than enough. It would have been just enough. But I put 3. So there you go. I guess I was thinking of the gems. So on here, I just put it even with the top. Put it down. And then the gems I used here were a little bit more subtle. These may not be the best ones. This one would be good. I probably wouldn't use either of these, so I'd probably pick some other gems. I didn't go that far. These are very pale gems. And what did I do with those? See, I just threw everything all over the place because when you make 3, it gets really crazy. Here we go. These, you could use these 2 colors, and you could actually use the green or this one. It's not one of the colors in there, but it would still look fine. So let's do that, and then we can finish up our card. Like I said, I didn't do all of the gluing of all of the ones. I just wanted to give you the parts that, I think I'm going to do this one. I just want to do the parts that were not important, but little things I learned along the way, if you will. And this time I'm using the bigger ones. I feel like the koi, they're very bold. And so I feel like it needed, oops, bolder gems. Well, come on now. I not hit the, there we go. And then we're going to push this one over just a hair. Oops, there we go. And look how cute that is. And it was very, very quick. So those are the 3 cards. Let me pull them all in. Well, this one's the same as this one. I'll give you these 2. This is the original and this is the alternate. And then these 2, of course, this one's not quite finished. There's the original and there is the alternate, sort of half finished. I hope you enjoyed this. We've got one more class that's going to, or one more blog that's going to have the final 2. These 2 right here. And then we'll be done with our card maps and we're going to move on to tips and techniques for my the end of July and the most part of August will be tips and tricks, I think. That's what I'm shooting for. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for stopping by. Consider subscribing on YouTube. I post once a week on Wednesdays, or maybe I might send you a flash sale. I don't send any other mails to that. Or you can go to my website and subscribe there. Either way, you will have the links to get to project sheets and all of those other things. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.